and how to solve bullying, and much more. All this on the Self-Evident Podcast.
Neo-pronouns. Neo-pronouns, Mike? What the flip is a neo-pronoun?
Oh, didn't you know? It totally makes sense.
I don't even know what a pronoun is.
Mass, did you not pay attention in English class?
Well, I did, but who remembers anything of school? Especially public school. I went to public school.
Bro, same here. And I graduated with an English degree, and half of that grammar stuff, I'm like, what? What?
I dare say I probably have better comma placement than you do.
You probably do. I throw commas at the paper like paint at a wall, dude. Every other word's got to have a comma. Although Grammarly has whooped my butt into shape, and you'll notice an improvement in my writing.
Amen. Go AI.
Right? Exactly. Well, it's kind of embarrassing. You know, like when you make a grammar mistake, if you're an English degree, everybody's like, I thought you had an English degree. It's like, yeah, because people with math degrees never get something wrong.
You know what's so dumb? It's like, who cares if you have a brown belt or a black belt? You might lose a battle or two, okay? Jeez.
Exactly. Now,
have a little compassion, folks. Did you see what's happening? Sorry, side note. You just did this article on AI, which everybody should check out. The AI article, The Dangers of AI, or Is There Danger with AI?
Right.
Do you know Pastor Todd's 10 books got audio with a recorded voice that is very, very awesome in 30 minutes? All 10 books in 30 minutes.
They did it with the AI audio.
Dude, the guy's inflection and everything is incredible. Wow. You should go hear a piece of it. That's how far we've come. And you know, first off, I feel bad for the people who do voiceovers.
Right.
I feel bad for them. So there are some advantages definitely to AI, and you just have to pivot. But there's also dangers. So go check out that article as well. I forgot to plug that. Great article, dude.
Thank you, man. And that's something that I want to be coming out more often for you guys, are like good, solid blog articles for you on different topics like this, because everybody cares about AI. And it was funny because I was talking to Melissa, and I won't give away the whole article, but I was talking to her about how we at Self-Evident, there are things with AI that make it a lot easier for us. You know, so it's like
I just want to say this to the partners, the people we don't have to hire because of AI. You know what I mean? Like the money we're saving just by them AI making a graphic instead of us hiring out a graphic.
Right.
You know?
And no, I won't give it away. Go read the article, because I have some cool examples of how AI can help, because especially in the Christian realm, like Massey, you and I hear this all, AI, it's the mark of the beast. Maybe, but there's useful, powerful tools for it. And I think what happens is we as Christians, we get stuck in this old technology mindset. And I was using this example with somebody else. Why is it that the linoleum floor, 80s decoration, small Baptist church with a single keyboard is acceptable in terms of what you put forward in Christianity, but a modern sound system, modern lighting system, modern graphics isn't suddenly not acceptable? And we draw this weird line, just like the Amish do, of like, well, technology was great until 1837. That's when God took his hand off technologies. Come on, guys.
Right. So remember, the churches were so frustrated with music, and then all of a sudden we like music. And first organs were demonic and satanic, and now organs are coveted. It's like, I don't get it.
That's
bottom line is people have to learn.
And righteous.
But the bottom line is people have to learn to adjust. I mean, we all have to learn to adjust to the times in that regard. I'm not saying everything's perfect about it, but now pivot. How can you use the modern technology to further your business, to further your ministry, to further? I mean, if we think about it, people say technology is evil. However, if you think about it, there's never been a better way to preach the gospel to so many people now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to talk about getting it to the ends of the earth. This is the way to do it. So
Mass, you'll know the significance of this moment. I finally have succumbed to the fact that I have to have some social media apps on my phone.
And I'm not even happy about that.
Right. And I'm not either, but that's where communication is happening for the vast majority of people with social media. So you get you get like three groups kind of in the Christian realm. You get the one group that's like, no, if you use social media to get the message out, you're just using the enemy's technology, and that's not holy and righteous. Those people are preaching to 10 people in a small church out in the middle of nowhere. Then you get the next group who's like, well, we're going to start putting our stuff online, but we don't want to get all those bells and whistles and those graphics and modern tech because that's not righteous. But the thing is, what you're actually doing is you're just stuck 20 years ago, and it's not going to speak to anybody because what you were doing 20 years ago spoke to people. That was the method or the vessel in the way that you spoke to people. Then you get that third group who everybody else points a finger at going, you're just using the technology and the graphics and the design and all that because you don't want to bring people in, right? And that's wrong, Did you cancel yourself out or?
I got it. Okay. Just go back. Keep going.
And so it's something where we have got to admit that we could use the many opportunities in the world for the gospel. And that's okay.
100%.
I don't think you're watering down the gospel at all as long as you present it truthfully by presenting it well.
Right. Here, let's give an example. You and I are kind of similar on the social media thing, although I have to have it. Social media is so stupid because you can have 1 million followers and the way the algorithms are set up, like the last few things I posted on mine, I have over 5,000-6,000 followers on Facebook and a couple thousand on Instagram. And the likes and stuff that I used to get, I don't get them anymore. It's like, I'm so sick of this game. However, social media people have come to us and say, you need to do TikTok. And I'm like, cool, let's do TikTok. But they want me to do the dances and all that other stupid. That's not the kind of stuff we're talking about. We're talking about using what we have to advance the gospel and the kingdom.
Right.
So in other words, maybe it's just you being a commentator. Maybe it's you being one of them folks. I really can't stand this. And I'm probably going to get in trouble for this. But like when you go on Instagram or Facebook, there's dudes that are making themselves famous by other dudes' clips. So they put the clip up here and then they're down here in their reactions.
Yeah.
I think that's like you're piggybacking off someone else's success. That's weird to me. Like, you should watch this. And then they're like, subscribe for what? I can go find that stuff myself. But people have, and at least those guys, and this is where I'm giving them credit, not just bashing them. They're getting the gospel out there. So it's like, okay, do to get the gospel out there, be a witness and an effective witness for the gospel, for Christ, and advance the kingdom. And so use any medium possible. And it's even stuff like this, what we're covering here with this tweet, the Jeopardy tweet. I don't know if you have it or we're going to put it up.
Yeah, I do.
But I want us to cover this because look at how social media is working for the enemy. We can combat it on the other side because the gates of hell can't prevail against us. So, just this Zem Zerzens himself, these are now considered legit answers to a Jeopardy question. Mike can tee it up.
So here's the video of it. It's 4 seconds long. You got this.
Parts of speech 6.
Zem, Zers, Zemself. Chris.
What are pronouns?
Those are pronouns, neo-pronouns. You have 62.
So this is now a legit Jeopardy question and answer format.
Did you see the dude at the end? The guy, like the face of the last guy was like not impressed. Yeah. But Jeopardy is supposed to be a factual based game. Mm-hmm. And they're using it now. Not opinion based. It's a factual based thing where now they're also now promoting hysteria. Literally is what they're doing. They're promoting what would be the right term for it? Fallacy, I guess would be the right word. So now we're using these games to do that. And because it's become part of our lexicon, which to me, when did the left or the right or anybody in government own the right or I'm sorry, even a certain group of people own the right to a pronoun or a definition. You know, it's that has to be the highest form of pride and tyranny to make me want to be in your delusion. Sorry.
Right. And that's the argument that Jordan Peterson made. That's the argument that we both support is you're actually committing tyranny and authoritarianism by forcing me to use terms. Right now, you can ask me to use those terms. You can suggest I use those terms. You can very strongly request. But we're going down that road of it, and I don't know if you saw this, dude, and this is a little bit of an aside, but Canada is going forward with hate speech laws and hate laws to where you could be in jail for life. Life imprisonment for this whole idea of hate. That's where this goes.
But rapists can get out in 3 to 5 years. If you don't pay your taxes, you go to jail, but you can get released.
Yep.
You could literally try and murder somebody and you still get 20 years. You know, sometimes there's parole.
Good behavior, get out, 10 years. But if you use the wrong word, and we're watching Peterson go through that right now because he's they're going to take his license. I don't care what re-education they try to put him through because he's not going to come out of that and say, you were right.
Yeah, he's not conforming.
I'm so sorry. No. So they will take his license.
That was a great impression.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That was a great impression. That was awesome.
Now
think about it. People can cross
a little Jordan Peterson.
Right. People can cross the border illegally. We're not doing anything. We could sell drugs on the streets and they'll get out in 3 to 5 years for the most part. People are saying our jails are overcrowded and overpopulated, but you're going to throw people in jail for speech. Do you not see? Listen to this, America. The fundamental war is not about just rights. It's about going against what God gave us. If God gave us the fundamental free right of speech to speak what we want to speak, and that no matter if it's offensive, it's going to hurt people, they're attacking those very foundations. They're going after the Second Amendment, your Fourth Amendment, your Fifth Amendment, your First Amendment. They went after states' rights to silence us because the government can do everything. Every other right is being promoted: healthcare, college tuition, the sinful lifestyles of the transgenderism and homosexuality to silence you. So all the things God said no to is being upheld. But the ones that he said, hey, don't touch these, those are being destroyed. Think about that for a minute.
Isn't that?
It has nothing to do with our Constitution. It's God.
Yeah, and it's so funny because we have all these arguments that, like, I love when it was a long time ago and you've used it plenty of times, but you drew that picture of everybody's chopping at the branches. Who's actually chopping at the trunk? And this is that perfect image of instead of having the argument, now we point out the z's or zims, zavs up stuff to point back down the branch to the root. Most people just chop at that. Jeopardy shouldn't have that on, and why would they have that on? And that's not true. And blah. No. You're having the wrong argument. And what you just said is exactly right. Do you notice virtue is being oppressed? Vice is being uplifted, especially where virtue comes into contact with vice. Perfect example, if you're praying in front of an abortion clinic, now you could be on the hook for a decade of prison, a decade behind bars because you kept people from their reproductive right. Vice.
It's Christians.
Yeah.
Because if there was a bunch of people protesting at a church, keeping people from going inside for their spiritual well-being,
they're exercising.
Slap on the wrist, let them go. That's exactly it. And so this is what's been happening. It's really full circle. This is not an attack just on rights. It's an attack on the God who gave us rights. If they can remove him, government becomes God. Dude, we've been preaching this for a long time. And I think what happens is because we're not opportunity chasers, we're just truth teachers. Like, I don't care about what comes. I was just on a podcast yesterday or a TV show yesterday. Ellis, it'll come out, I don't know what, one of these days. And it was last minute, so I had to pull over. And to see like the crap she's been through, she was Trump's former attorney, you know what I mean? This whole crazy stuff. But to see how, like, if it wasn't Trump and it was someone else's lawyer, no big deal. But boy, these people get eviscerated because they're Trump's people. I'm not, the lawyers that are on trial right now for, what do you call it? They were in collusion. I forget her name, the African lady, the black lady. And her
Fannie Willis and
Fannie Willis, yeah.
Daniel Wade, I think.
Do you notice how ABC and the rest of these people are covering it? They're only giving her side of these stupid bullshit, like her shots that are coming out. They're very sarcastic. She doesn't talk professional. She's acting very stupid, and they're promoting like, "Ooh, she got them," basically, but they're not actually covering the questions given to her. And you're seeing it really is an attack on truth. And the more that they can remove, like, one of the questions yesterday, Mike, was this when I was with Jenna Ellis. Great interview, great person. She said, "What these kids are committing suicide at greater rates since 2021. They've been doing these assessments, Yeah. And she said, what do you think's happening?" I was like, "Dude, my wife just told me the other day, if you remove foundational truths from kids, if you tell them that they are what they want to be, but kids need to feel security, right? They need to know that they're a part of something. They need to know, like when you were a kid, you want to go to school. The reason why you had so much joy is because you knew nothing would happen. It was safe. When you go home, it's safe. When you go home and it's all, we don't know what their parent life is like. Some of these kids that are going through suicides or suicidal ideologies. When you're not secure and tell them, go be what you want to be. And then you go tell them, just because you are that, there's this boogeyman out there that's out to oppress you. Can you imagine living? How don't you think anxiety is going to happen and depression is going to happen? Not only am I not accepted by society, but there's this big boogeyman out there that's trying to get me and oppress me every day. Yeah. And then there's no security in your life. And then you're like, I don't know why I'm anxious and depressed. And crying in the mud.
You're absolutely right. Like, children need to have boundaries. And they need to have somebody that's over top, right? They need to have somebody they know is in charge. That's when a kid feels safe. The problem is now you've got the adults telling the kids, well, you're in charge and you can do whatever you want and feel free and go make your own choices and do whatever. So you never gave them the tools by instructing and guiding them. You never gave them the boundaries so they could learn that. Then they get older and all of a sudden the adults are telling them, well, see, now you're an adult. Now you can make any choice you want to make. I've been making my own choices since I was a kid. It's not working out well for me. I don't know what way's right, what way's wrong. Everything's overwhelming. Nobody's ever protected me or watched over me despite what I want. And then we wonder.
Discipled.
Yeah, they were never. Look,
nobody's ever.
One of the best things about being a disciple is knowing you've got a person over you who can help and guide and protect you. That's one of the biggest
someone who's more mature.
Yes.
One of the things too is the authority has been taken away from parents. You can't spank your kids. You can't talk bad to your kids. Someone's going to get called CPS. There's like this boogeyman fear, right? So when there's no authority, no confidence, no assurance, who's my leader? If my parents can't do it, and I'm not saying in every case, I'm not doing that, but this actually is going to tie into the article that we're covering today. I was telling Jenna, you tell a bunch of young girls, because the statistics were saying females have a higher kind of rate of anxiety and depression. And I was like, imagine telling a young girl who was raised in a church setting, right? That marriage covenant, man is the head, according to Ephesians, right? It's just an authority structure. It's not the people are doormats. It's a structure of, I'm going to answer to God for my marriage type of thing. So the male is the head. Christ is the head of the church. Man is the head of the marriage. That's just how it works. But then you're telling women now, you need to be successful. What are you doing? You don't need a man. You can do it all yourself, blah, blah, blah. But then all of a sudden they start having anxiety. I want kids one day. How can I have kids and I have a full-time job? What am I going to do? You're putting something in them they were not designed to do. And it's not that some of them can't be successful. There are many women who are successful. And those are the exceptions to the rule. Many people just want a family. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's like the patriarchy is being destroyed. Family nucleus is being destroyed. Their foundations of who they are is being destroyed. Everything God told us to be is being attacked. And we wonder, and I said this on the show, I've heard this for 25 years since high school. Bullying, number one cause of suicides. Oh my gosh, depression, blah, blah, blah. 25 years of these guys attacking this. It's never gotten fixed. It's never gotten better. It's gotten worse.
And I had this thought the other day, and then we'll get into the article, because I love this conversation. Honestly, I want to just roll with this. But I saw somebody the other day and they had some bully campaign thing going on, like stop bullying or whatever. In my head, I was like, you're never going to do it because you're focused on the wrong problem. What you're doing is you're going and preaching to the bullies saying, stop bullying. You've got to stop bullying. We got to all work together and love each other. Do you not realize that the bully is just as, if not more, depressed, anxious, unstable, pained, bitter? They're the ones that are feeling all of this turmoil inside that they don't even realize a lot of times that they're feeling, but that's their outlet, is to pick out on somebody else. Now, am I saying, well, they're a victim? No, you're still responsible for your actions. But can we stop this conversation of, well, the bully just needs to stop and we need to all love each other? You have so often the kid that gets picked on is weak already. So you have two kids who are both screwed up because neither has had great, healthy relationships with their parents, with the people around them, their peers. They have a tough situation going on, whether at school, at home. There's something going on to where that kid is not flourishing and being nourished. So often we have these crazy blue-haired teachers, administrators, education state bureaucrats that have no clue what is actually going on. And they think, well, if I just push this idea of love and tolerance and acceptance on these kids, they'll start doing right. You're not a role model for them. You're a nag. You haven't proven anything to them. They don't respect your experience. They don't respect your word. They don't respect who you are because you don't respect yourself.
That's exactly it. I think the other thing too, we might as well keep going.
Yeah.
When you talked about outlets, this is why we need to call EnergyOpsLLC.com, or sorry, EnergyOps.us. EnergyOps LLC is the kind of people who can not only fix your outlets, but get the power where you need it in your homes, businesses, and more. So go visit our sponsor because he's amazing and we love him. But back to the outlet.
EnergyOps.
EnergyOps is awesome. But think about this, dude. You were just talking about how bullying is like this thing. And I keep thinking to myself, the Bible constantly talks about exercising your faith and that you learn patience and godliness and kindness and wisdom through trial. If you continuously try to remove trials from people, they'll never be able to exercise maturity and faith. And I'm not saying bullying is good. What I'm saying is it happens. And all you can do to that person is preach the gospel and love them. But how are we going to love them if you're trying to force them to change? They can't change like that. They need the gospel of Jesus. How are they going to get that if you're not emulating and you've never been put through the fire of adversity to learn the gospel, to learn the love of Jesus, to learn what persecution feels like? Bullying happens, and maybe it's your opportunity to look at that bully and say, look, man, you probably never had the love that I have from Christ, just like I was or whatever, but let me preach to you. Now we're trying to stop these things and force these kids and try to re-educate them and say everybody's great and a human. Dude, that utopian thing may have worked for philosophers, some that I deeply respect as far as philosophy goes, but they know without a common morality, they're not going to overcome the wickedness that's out there. And so for me, when I'm seeing trials come, why not teach our kids that adversity happens? Ever since they were little, like my boys can attest, they're here right now. Ever since they were young and they could understand it, often, how many times have I told them, life's not fair. Crap's going to happen to you, dude. Get used to it because
it ain't
you
sunshine
can't.
and roses.
It ain't. And you know what? You better learn Christ now and how to overcome these things when those things. Learn Christ now, so when those things happen, you know how to adequately answer. Right? Because guess what? You're gonna get shafted by people. People are gonna leave you. Friends are they're gonna do things to you because guess what? You live in a fallen world. It's broken. Right? I know we can make it better one person at a time, but you're what is it? The Pastor Todd call it behavior modification. Behavior modification only works so far because they'll find another lust to go after. If it's not bullying, it's something else. It's the gospel that transforms them. So let's teach our kids that adversity happens. How can we exercise our faith to learn patience, godliness, kindness, self-control? You can't do that without the trial. You can't do that without the persecution. You see what I'm saying? Like we got to be careful that we're not getting rid of things that could grow our kids. You know what I mean? I'm not encouraging, because some liberal will take this. I'm not encouraging bullying. What I'm saying, bullying happens. Let's teach our kids to fight adversity instead of, but we need to make sure that all these kids, they're not,
It's not
maybe
working.
God, it's well that, but like maybe some of these kids who are bullies, they've never been taught that their outlet of what they're doing is not what they're called to. That maybe their bullying is actually meant for edification and encouragement, but they've learned the other way because they don't know what love is. They don't know what Christ. They don't know anything, and so we're not really affirming these kids. We're actually kind of pulling them off their crosses if they don't know how to deal with adversity.
Exactly. And you have a lot of people who have not dealt with adversity well. And you might argue they've never really reconciled adversity. And then they're coming back and trying to teach these kids how to deal and reconcile with adversity. It's like, you're not healthy.
That's exactly it.
I know people will say, oh, you're making one heck of a blanket generalization. Yes, I am. But I was on the inside of the whole education program in college, and I'm telling you flat out, at least 80% of those people should not have been on the education track. But they go through it, they get the degree, they get the certificate, they get put in the class, and they get protected by the unions for a lifetime. And
that's exactly it.
We do not have a lot of prepared people in education. And the worst part is, the ones who are prepared and the ones who can do it well are being stymied and squashed by the administrations that need to kowtow to all of the policy du jour.
I'm in complete agreement.
Forever. All right, guys, so we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, for listening. Be sure to leave in the comments or get on one of our social pages if you're listening and let us know what you think about bullying, what you think about this whole neo-pronoun stuff going on. Most importantly, reach out because we want to hear from you. We want to connect with you. We want to build community with you. And if you feel it on your heart to start supporting, please, by all means, go to theselfevidenttruth.com. Become a torchbearer. Become one of us. Let's move this message forward. So, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you all have a great day. I hope you guys are able to bless other people this week. And we will be back on Friday. One note, we're going to start promoting this. We are actually going to move the time of the podcast show. We're going to move it to 8 p.m. 11 a.m. just seems to be a thunker for people. And so we're going to move it. We're shifting some things around. You're going to notice some format changing for us. We're trying to get our ducks in a row. So keep an eye out for that. But I hope you